Assassin's Creed has always been a series with tons of history. It's likely one of the many things that makes Assassin's Creed so appealing to so many people. Getting to immerse yourself in these iconic locations and pinnacle battles and moments in our world's history. Assassin's Creed itself is heavily inspired by history, as the inspiration for the Assassin's Creed comes from the real-life assassins who lived in the Middle East during the Crusades, where their story quickly became legend. And of course, we know the Knights Templar was very real. Now obviously the series isn't based on complete realism. They still like to fantasize or put their own twists on events. For example, introducing artifacts like the Apple of Eden, or using a seemingly magic hidden blade that they couldn't have possibly fashioned in these time periods. But from the design to the worlds and the timing of certain events, Assassin's Creed was usually quite historically accurate, or at least it used to be. Easily the most historically accurate game in the series is Assassin's Creed 1. It's clear when they first created the series, realism and history were very important factors to the developers. I mean, they removed the crossbow from the game to retain that historical accuracy, not to mention the designs of the cities and the fact that some of the major figures you assassinate in the game died in those same locations in real life. Even Al-Mualim was a real person and the leader of the assassins. They paid great attention to detail during Assassin's Creed 1, and grounding Altair and the players in that time period felt extremely immersive. Now, I hate to sound like a broken record, but obviously that care for historical accuracy isn't as much there anymore. The way the worlds are made when it comes to the architecture, from what I heard, is still pretty accurate, especially in games like Assassin's Creed Unity, with the buildings like the Notre Dame being exact replicas of how they looked in real life. Assassin's Creed Syndicate also did a very good job of capturing a historically accurate looking London during the Industrial Revolution. The earlier games did a good job of incorporating well-known historical figures without making it feel too forced or out of place, specifically with Leonardo da Vinci, who makes for a great companion in AC2 and Brotherhood. Cesare Borgia was also really well done in Brotherhood, and even down to his character and personality is historically accurate. Or even the Founding Fathers in Assassin's Creed 3. I feel they did a much better job at blending history with their own Assassin's Creed world they've created. But obviously the historical accuracy within the story and gameplay is almost completely gone in the newer games, as we can now swing Mjolnir in one hand with Excalibur in the other. Valhalla still has some accuracy though, of course, like the locations of the settlements. The history is still there, just not even close to the same level as AC1 and some of the others. And of course, obviously I know it's harder to create a more accurate experience with games that take place in time periods that don't have as many records as, let's say, the French or American Revolution, but when you're using magic powers or mythical weapons and fighting mythical creatures, it doesn't capture that immersion you feel. It's like a strange hybrid with these new AC games, where there's some historical accuracy and realism, and then there's tons of fantasy injected in there as well, and makes for a really odd mix that doesn't feel as immersive and grounding in my opinion. Some people may not care for historical accuracy, and therefore don't mind the inaccuracies of the newer games. However, for me, grounding and immersing yourself in some of history's most well-known times was what I loved about Assassin's Creed, especially when I first got into the series. History is firmly baked into the series' very identity, so that's just another way the identity of Assassin's Creed has changed over the years. However, we all know the events of Assassin's Creed Odyssey are 100% true, and the legend of the eagle-bearing, Spartan-kicking, flaming Alexios are still taught in our classrooms to this day. But let me know what you guys think about the history within Assassin's Creed, and whether or not you like the historical accuracy in Assassin's Creed games. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you considered leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more Assassin's Creed videos. I make a lot here, but thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day, everyone.